Hey YouTube, Longboys Post 1975. You and me, we've been together for a month. So I thought, sorry that was a really poor joke, I thought I'd do an overview of the Wii U. No, this is not going to be massively in depth or anything like that. It's just, and I'm not, you know, this is not an argument about whether it's next gen or it's previous gen or anything like that. This is just my thoughts, having owned the system for a month. Obviously the scope of my thoughts is limited to the number of games I have. But other than that, you know, sort of the way it interacts, the pad interacts with the system, interacts with the TV, which was something quite surprising. You know, the way you use the interface on it, you know, the way you browse the internet, the way you can juggle between the TV and the pad to play games, which may sound like a gimmick, but once you experience it, in fact, I have to say, and everyone who owns one, I know pretty much says the same thing, you don't know how nifty a piece of kit this is or how good it is until you've used one. Now, I said I was never going to go next gen, and that's well, you know, never say never, but my plans right now are not going to go next gen. But the reason I bought this is, I don't know, it's like current gen 1.5. It's somewhere in between. I bought it initially because I was disappointed with the Xbox One reveal, but at the same time, I do want a new system, and by that I mean I want a system where I've got another 5, 6, 7 years, you know, of its life cycle ahead of me, so I can buy new games. So yeah, so I bought it. I think I paid 250 quid. I got a couple of games. It's interesting because if you stop to think about it, half the price of the system is actually pretty much the pad, which could be worrying if you break it, so look after your shit, people. But then I think most of us do look after our shit. So the system itself, you know, is actually quite good value. I'm talking about, you know, the actual machine, console, I should say. Now, it is HD, it's 720, I think it looks absolutely fantastic. I know people are going to berate and slate this video and me for saying that and saying, but it's, you know, it's barely better than a PS, you know, 3 or an Xbox 360. Well, all I know is I've been generally very, very impressed by the games I've played on it. You know, Call of Duty in particular looks absolutely fantastic. But it's more than that, you know, this is an experience in itself. I don't know how well this is going to show up, but it's funny, right? I don't know if the TV's going to show up, but you know, you could swap this to the TV and the TV to this. You got, you know, you got communities. It's brilliant. You got little communities in here, you know, which is all sort of, you know, like Nintendo Channel, things like that related. It's got YouTube as a default on the menu, but I would recommend you do it through the browser, because if you do it through the browser, you can watch it on this. Which may sound silly, but I've played games on this, and I've, you know, surfed the web quite, you know, extensively on this, you know, late at night when I've been in bed because I couldn't be arsed, you know, to power up my laptop. And it is absolutely brilliant. It comes with stylus, you know, so you don't have to get big fat fingerprints all over the screen. It's not perfect as a controller, but it is a really, really comfortable controller. Obviously it's dual analogs. The D-pad, as you would expect from a Nintendo system, is fantastic. You got your home button just to quickly, you know, instantly get you back to the main screen. Oh, this is really cool, the TV button. This may not sound like a big deal, but when you kind of juggle things like I do, which is DVDs, playing games and stuff like that, you can change the TV channel on this. You can do the volume on this, which is also good because this is busted to shit, and the frequency for my energy saving light bulbs, I shit you not, affects my remote. Tuning it in was, I initially did shit my pants, because you tune it in and then you turn it on, it tells you to pick your TV. So I picked Acoustic Solutions, and then it you know, scanned it, whatever, and it said, does it work? And I'm like, no. And I'm like, oh shit, here we go. I did it 3 times and it got it, which, you know, we've all had universal remotes. You fumble around in the dark with them quite a lot more than you do with this. But the internet browser on this is also absolutely fantastic. So nice. Again, I don't know if you're going to see this. That's obviously my channel page. It's really, the touch screen is just so, it's silky, really it is. It's like wiping your ass with silk. It's so smooth. Other surprising things about this that I thought was really, really cool was you can, it's got a webcam built into it. Now, I was skeptical about that, because I thought, oh, how good can it be? I video chatted on this with the Sega Stoner, and I was absolutely amazed, especially in low light, how good quality it is. It's got to be VGA, it really, really has, because it's as good as my VGA camera I use on my laptop, you know, when I do Uvo and Skype and stuff like that. Now, I guess initially a lot of the people's problem with this is the lack of games, but I've only had it for a month. You know, I was late to the party, so that's not really a problem for me. Plus it also means I can pick them up, you know, cheap and second hand and stuff like that. And of the games I've got, I'm really, really impressed. I mean, I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but Black Ops 2 is what it is. It looks brilliant, it plays absolutely amazing. And I don't know if you can see this, because I did buy the Pro pad for it, mainly because it was dirt cheap. This pad, by the way, it's brilliant. It's like a perfect cross between 360 pad and a PS3 pad. But yeah, this is where, you know, the quality of the games will come down to those who make it, and I love this about it because you can play it right on the back with everything. You can play it with the U pad, you can play it with the Pro pad, you can play it with the nunchuck and the Wiimote, which was something I was worried about, that you wouldn't be able to play Wii U games with that input, because that's my favourite input for first-person shooters I love and adore. You can play it with the classic controller, you can play it with absolutely everything. I think that's absolutely fantastic. The other thing that's really cool about this, obviously being someone who's come from Xboxes, it's free to play online. Not that I have a problem with Xbox Live. You know, my membership's expired, but I never really had a problem with it. Because, you know, at the end of the day, servers are expensive and you get what you pay for. I've done a video of this, it'll be up later on, did it a few days ago. This is another brilliant example of, you know, stuff that Nintendo nails perfectly. It's a Mario game. It does use functionality of the screen, but again, you can play it with the Pro pad. You can play it sideways with that. I was never a fan of using that as a pad, as much of a fan of the Wiimote as I am. Zombie U, very tense, probably shit your pants, and a perfect example of, you know, the correct way to use that pad, because you switch between your inventory and stuff, you juggle all kinds of things on the pad while still looking at the screen. You can even have a radar, which definitely ramps up the tension. It's a shame that Colonial Marines never came out on this, because that would have been a brilliant sort of, you know, way to utilise that pad, you know, motion detectors and stuff like that. And also this one, Batman Armored Edition. More often than not, all the Wii U games as well come with pretty much all the DLC that they would have if they're on the other systems. This is absolutely fantastic, and this uses this in a really good way, which is your detective mode. You can move this around, you know, within the gaming environment and see something on here that you wouldn't see on the TV screen, which does definitely enhance it. Or you can just play it like the PS3 or Xbox version. Now, something else I was kind of skeptical about is the fact that you can play games on the pad. And people are like, well, why would you? Well, because sometimes it just works. Sometimes I can't be bothered to play it on the, you know, it's not a portable console. It's not, because you're streaming it from the console itself. But sometimes it's just nice. Like I've played games. I played Batman in this when I've just been in bed, you know, and that's a different room, and that's how good right, it's not, you know, the other side of the fucking country, but that's how good the range is on this. I'd have to say, there are faults with that pad, by the way. The battery life is bollocks, but then more often than not, I just keep it plugged in anyway. And you would expect it to be poor because, you know, the size of the screen and how much power that would that must draw. But as I said, this is just my thoughts. I've had it for a month. I've got 4 games. I had 5. I got rid of Avengers because it was rubbish. That was an example of trying something with the pad. Kudos for them trying, but at the same time, you know, I guess to some degree some of the early games may suffer from some of the early games on, you know, the Wii, which is some games don't need to have this. That's the great thing about that pad. While you use correctly, it'll be brilliant, but at the same time, you know, some games don't need to use it, which is why I bought a Pro controller. So my initial thoughts on the Wii U so far, whether they deteriorate because Nintendo really don't start pumping out games, but I don't think that'll be a problem, because obviously it shifted quite a lot more units after the initial sort of, this is not me having a pop at the Xbox One, but the initial sort of disappointment of the Xbox One, they sold units of this. I mean, it's what made me buy it. So yeah, my initial thoughts are the internet is brilliant on it, the pad is fantastic, games are nice and shiny. Sure, they won't be as good as, you know, Xbox One and PlayStation 4, but then the thing is, the Wii was one of my favourite consoles, and that was underpowered to the other systems at the time, and it never really bothered me. It's what you want from a system. That's why I don't understand when people bang on and say it's, you know, it's not powerful enough. Well, I don't want power, so that's not a problem for me. Oh, it is Wii backward compatible. That's really cool. And you just plug your sensor bar into it, and then you sync your Wiimote to that console. So I really like that. This is just, I know it couldn't do this, but just imagine if it could be backward compatible and then backward compatible, and you would stick your GameCube game in when you're in the, because you have to, I don't know if it's emulation or not, but you don't just stick a Wii game in and it works. You have to, you know, go into a Wii mode and then put it in. So I did actually try sticking a GameCube disc in to see what would happen. But yeah, that's just me being anal and nerdy, because there's no way that would happen. But I gotta say, so far I'm really impressed. You know, nice pad, nice graphics, you know, very user friendly. You got the annoying download when you turn it on, but then if you're coming from a PS3, then I'm pretty sure you're used to that anyway. So yeah, my initial thoughts on You and Me, a month old. I'm absolutely loving it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later.